Howdy, folks. Welcome to episode 64. That's the wrong era. Um, I might be flying solo. I know I say that all the time, and eventually people show up, but I don't know tonight. We'll see. But tonight we're going to be talking about playing games that the rules were written for one era or genre, and we decided to play in a completely different uh, era or genre with those particular rules. Now let's take a look to see who's with us tonight. We got Reese. Howdy, Reese. Welcome. I got Dave Hall in the house. Greetings indeed. Tiger Shadow says, howdy, Reese. Howdy indeed. And then Chuck's in the house with an evening. Gentlemen, one and all, thank you so much for showing. So, what got me to thinking about this was I've been listening to Red Storm Rising again. I've read it. I've actually read the book 3 or 4 times. I've listened to it 2 or 3 times, and it just reiterates to me how much I enjoy the idea of gaming in the Cold War. You know, mid 80s when I was a teenager. Again, I don't know why that's such a big draw to me, but just the idea of, you know, the NATO versus Warsaw Pact and along the intra border of Germany. And I started thinking today, in fact, that what game is out there that encompasses everything that you have in the Red Storm Rising. You know, the naval part, the ground battle, the air battle, all of it. You know, so I was chuckling at Dave Hall says the spine of the hardback that arrived today is savior of, not savior of. What he's talking about, ladies and gentlemen, if there are any ladies out there, is this right here, hardback. And it does say that, yeah. Savior of. So, and Dave, mine is signed. So, I'm kidding. Great book. If you haven't seen the video yet, I know you all have. If you haven't seen the video of the flip through, go see it. It's a great book. I love it. It is beautiful. Anyway, and I started thinking about, you know, what game could be played at that operational level, where, you know, you're dealing with, you know, entire convoys or entire fleets, or, you know, several regiments of backfire bombers coming down over Iceland, you know, that type of stuff. Excuse me. What game would I be able to do? And something that immediately popped in my mind is you could use I think you could use Kriegspiel. Now, for those of y'all that aren't familiar with Kriegspiel, it is a set of rules that were originally designed by a Prussian officer. I can't remember what his rank is, that he used as a training aid to train other officers in the Prussian army to, you know, think about battle tactics. Two Fat Lardies then have, and it's been used, quite a bit throughout history. And Two Fat Lardies got a hold of, I think they got a hold of some original text and translated it into English and then published it. And they've got PDFs for sale. A couple of different versions. I don't know the differences. I've bought both, but I really haven't read through them. All of this is because my brother has run several Kriegspiels for our J3 gaming group, and has taken part in a couple of the Two Fat Lardies Kriegspiels. He didn't run the airborne game. He was part of that, and that's what I was talking about. Is the Two Fat Lardies put together when it was ostensibly World War II time frame. That time frame. What he has run that I have taken part of is a quasi Civil War era. You've got Team Red and Team Blue, and he's made up his own country. He actually used it with. He actually did a Kriegspiel for his OCS candidates a couple of years ago, where I helped him judge, and was running back and forth between the two teams and helping him, run it for an afternoon. It was really quite interesting. But I was thinking that this could be done at, an operational level where, instead of a unit being a regiment, the aircraft units could be regiments. I would probably do the ground units. Probably, I guess you could do regiment level with that as well. Each marker would be a single regiment. I think you could do that. I don't think you would. If you're doing a full-on, intra-German border conflict, and aircraft coming from the Kola Peninsula down into North Atlantic, that type of thing, I don't think you would want to go smaller than a regiment. I was thinking maybe a battalion, but I think that would be too small. So I think regiment would be good. How I would go about doing that, figuring out the interactions and whatnot, it would be very high level, definitely. And I don't know. I think it could be done. Now, what Jay has done, what the Two Fat Lardies have done, they've actually have played with people all across the world. Obviously, Two Fat Lardies are in the UK. Jay was part of it, living here in, central Illinois, 6-hour time gap. So, I mean, that's something that could be done. They used Discord. They created, multiple channels. Each player was in control of a division. I would probably, depending on if I were to do this, if I were to do it, each player would probably, depending on how many number of players I had, if I could have 4 players to a side, I'd probably have one player running all the naval stuff, one player running all the Air Force stuff, and one player playing all the Army stuff. And of course, the Navy has both air assets and fleet assets. It'd get kind of tricky with submarines because those don't really work in wolf packs, so to speak. But again, I think it could be something interesting, and this is all something that's coming together to me right now. And I started thinking, well, what are some of the other games? What are some of the other time periods? What are some of the other eras, genres, etc., that we have looked to play using because the rules aren't there. Um, and obviously, not so much in board games. Board games are really, I mean, super hyper focused because all of the counters are right there. You really can't do, you can't take Into the Woods, Battle of Shiloh, and play American Civil or American War of Independence. First off, there, unless I'm completely mistaken, there's uh, no AWI battles on the Tennessee River, and the because the units are what they are. You're really, they're on the markers. I don't think you could do that with board games as easily. Um, so this is definitely a miniatures type of thing that we're looking at. And the one that comes to mind quickest was, the original Fistful of Lead, or the original Force on Force, Ambush Alley. People immediately started looking to, the original Fistful of Lead, as the name implies, was Western, you know, cowboys, shooting it out at the OK Corral type stuff. The original Ambush Alley was, if I'm not mistaken, was, Vietnam. And people started immediately taking those rules and figuring out, hey, what time frame what time frame could I use, or what rules could I use to fight a particular combat that isn't available to me, to answer your question, Reese. Hold on. Bear with me. Yeah, bear with me, folks. That's all force. That's all the Force on Force books, including Tomorrow's War, which is the sci-fi version. So before I got into Fistful of Lead, I was into Force on Force. I still like Force on Force, which is what Ambush Alley got. The original version of Force on Force was Ambush Alley, and then Osprey came to them and said, "Hey, I think we should do this really neat thing, and let's publish your game, and then have all kinds of great new exciting supplements." And so Sean and Robbie signed a 2 or 3 year deal that they were going to produce lots of books. So it started off being a Vietnam, strictly Vietnam. When they went to Force on Force, Modern War Game Rules is, modern as of early 2000s. Some of the books that they decided to come up with, like Day of the Rangers, based off of, Somalia 1993, Black Hawk Down. My favorite of the books, Cold War Gone Hot, World War III, 1986. as with any game system I get really, really involved with, um, I do end up becoming a a play tester on somehow, some way it happens, um, and so I get my name listed to the point that I actually even can I find it here? Now I don't have. I am missing one of the books. I don't know where it is handy. But my brother and I, Jay and I, actually wrote a scenario, and it got published in one of the books. Um, so yeah, I love the game. It's still a good go-to game for me. It's a step up from Force on Force, or excuse me, Fistful of Lead. Fistful of Lead. Your discrete maneuver element is a single character, unless you're going to bigger battles. But we're not going to talk about. We're not discussing bigger battles. We're just talking about regular Force on Force. So you've got your five guys that you're moving individually. With Force on Force, you're putting together a team. You're probably dealing with a platoon, maybe two at most with support, company at the absolute highest level, where fire teams are your maneuver element. So you got 4 or 5 guys that are moving in conjunction as a single unit and activating as a single unit. So basically the same level as bigger battles. So you've got Fistful of Lead, where each model is you're activating each model individually. Then you go to bigger battles or Force on Force, where you've got a fire team that's getting activated. So it is my favorite small tactics game. Um, they had before life happened. Sean and Robbie were working on a World War II version um, that was going to be pretty cool. But as I said, life happened, so they had to actually back off um, of it, and actually, came out and said they've stopped working on it altogether. But it you could you could if you want to take the time and effort and put together the information yourself, you could very easily play Force on Force in World War II. You could very easily, and as you could see with Tomorrow's War, make it sci-fi, hard sci-fi, not grim dark, 40K type sci-fi, not the fantasy type sci-fi, but actual. If you wanted to run a game in the Expanse universe, I would say use it. So actually, John, yeah, Vietnam, a squad with a radio and a B-52 on call. Not too far from the fact there is some of that in their Ambush Valley book. That's one of the things that you can do in it. And you could take it back, World War II, probably as far. You could possibly do World War I with it. Obviously not, northern France with the trench warfare, but definitely stuff in the Middle East, Egypt, that type of stuff. You could probably do. You could still use Force on Force again if you wanted to take the time and effort and put the your knowledge of that particular era into play. Absolutely, because very much like Fistful of Lead, Force on Force doesn't focus on the weapons. An assault rifle is an assault rifle is an assault rifle. It's where you will, basically say, the training of the individuals is more important than the weapons that they are using. Uh, absolutely, yeah. You definitely want to get the hold of the PDF. Yeah, you're going to be very hard pressed to find hard copies uh, after the 2 or 3 years that they had signed with Osprey. They pretty much, you know, once they were done printing, they were done printing. There are no more, but the PDFs are still pretty good. Absolutely, and they're actually there in Enid, Oklahoma. Uh, yeah, definitely. I could probably sell my collection, the full collection. If I got the right buyer, I could probably get $1,000 for them for everything. Not going to, because I love the game so much. I've got several scenarios that I could whip out and play. I use 15 millimeter for my scale of choice on that. But yeah, you could use it for multiple things. Another game that people tend to look at to because they like it and they want to use it with different genres or different eras is Chain of Command. I know my buddy Chris, my buddy Joel, Reese. You met them at the convention. Oh yeah, absolutely. It could be used in 54 millimeter. Again, you just have to understand the scale, and what I mean by scale, not scale of figures, but scale of operations. In 54 millimeter, you're probably not going to want to go more than uh, uh, definitely not bigger than a platoon. You're going to want to have 3 squads or 6 fire teams with some support. I think that would be your best bet. Don't go any bigger than a platoon level action. So, the reason why you live in a desert is because you don't want it to rain every damn day of your life, which has been happening for me for the last couple of days. Oh my Lord. And it's cold and it's miserable. I will take your hot and dry right now. No questions asked. I'll switch you. Now, come June, we'll talk. But, and what I'm saying is, Mini Warmut comes in, hey, I'll lurk while I sit here wondering why I live in the desert. Hope all is well. Good to hear from you, Warmut. I hope those Romans are going well. Keep painting up on those guys. Maybe we'll get an update from you tomorrow or Saturday with you and McMurray. So, love following that and seeing what's going on. I wanted to be a part of it. I just can't get into painting Romans. So what I've been doing is painting up my little ships and excuse me, working on this one. I need to lighten up her skin tones a little. But yeah, she's coming along nice. And John says, plus your wife gives you a chore and you can rule out mowing the rocks. Well, there you go. So yeah, for Force on Force, definitely, I would definitely get the core book and definitely get Ambush Valley, those 2 PDFs. Obviously, the core rule book, so you have all the rules, and then and you don't have to get Ambush Valley, but it is an amazing book. As you can see, it's a pretty thick book. It has got, not if you're counting not counting your glossary, you've got 172 pages, and you've got Viet Cong without a leader, Viet Cong with a leader. It's got solo and co-op versus victory. Victor Charlie versus VC. It's got different scenarios to use. It also has layout of different vehicles. So it's a great book, great asset. Even if you don't, I know a lot of people that don't necessarily uh, play uh, the game, but they bought it just for the research that was there. So it's pretty cool. Chuck says, Desert Leland, you need a hobby. Collect snakes, scorpions, Gila monsters. Yes, yeah. Well, we've done some scorpion spotting uh, with Warmutt. He'll hop onto the group chat and go to video call, and he's got his black light out and showing up all the damn scorpions that are roaming around in his yard. So yeah, fun. Anyway, like I was saying, one of the other games that uh, people like to use is Chain of Command. As I was saying, um, the my buddy Christopher Copeland and Joel uh, have been working and throwing around rules and ideas and upgrades and whatnot for sci-fi, using the Chain of Command rules, and it's pretty cool. And that's exactly in line with kind of what the topic is for tonight. Is Chain of Command is definitely a World War II game, but they are wanting, because they like the gameplay, they're wanting to use some of their sci-fi models, and so they have taken it upon themselves to work on Chain of Command sci-fi. It's pretty cool. John says that would highly encourage me to move. I have squirrels. Yeah, squirrels are a little less deadly than everything there. Yeah, squirrels do taste good. As long as they're not hit by a 22 mag and get it all cleaned out as you shoot it. Anyway, so it's I guess it's by nature that we as miniature gamers will get a set of rules that we really like, and we end up wanting to throw a different throw a different coding over them. Sci-fi for Chain of Command, World War II for Force on Force, Cold War for Kriegspiel. It's just, it seems like by definition, as soon as we like a particular rule system, we start coming up with ways to, utilize it in a way that was not originally intended. Yeah, more fistful of lead on everything. I've said it. Jay Wiley has said it. Anybody that knows the game knows that. Yeah, we've got Galactic Heroes, we've got Tales of Horror, we've got Wasteland Warriors, we've got all of these great expansions. But really, truly, if you've got if you got a good head on your shoulders, you understand the mechanics of the game, you don't need any of that. You just sit down and say, okay, we're going to make a pistol be a pistol. A revolver is now a semi-automatic, M1911. And instead of a Colt Army Navy revolver, it's an M1911. Instead of the instead of a musket, we're going to make that into a Car 92 or Arisaka rifle. It's you just you can do it on your own, um, and you can do it on your own with any of these rules, uh, as long as you have a firm grasp of how the rules work, and you have a firm grasp of the era or the genre you're working with or want to work with. You can meld them together all you want. Uh, and a lot of people are like that, John. From 1975 to 2005, absolutely. Again, why I'm drawn to that time period, I don't know. Um, Maybe it was because I joined the National Guard, and in 1987, December of 88, I joined the National Guard and went to basic training in 89, hurt my back, and didn't continue with my career. So maybe that's it. I don't know. Could be. Maybe. Why do I like aircraft games so much? I wanted to be a pilot, didn't get to be a pilot, so I'm gonna live out my military. What I could have done in my military. Yep, John, I am a young pup. In comparison to some of you grognards out there, I'm young. Don't be fooled though. Reese is even younger. If I remember correctly, he was born the year I graduated high school. So there you go. Um, so you know, I think we gravitate to a particular time frame. I graduated college in '97. I'm sorry, I transposed '89 and '98. I graduated high school in '89. I graduated college in '97. Yes, it took me 8 years to get through college. A lot of people took 8 years to get through college. Of course, they're called doctors, and I'm not. So there you have it. Um, no, that's right. I think McMurray was born in 88, 89 time frame. Anyway, I knew one of you guys were around then. Anyway, so I think we all gravitate to uh, a era or a genre that we really like, that we really want to study, that we really get to know, and then we find a game system that we really enjoy playing, and we obviously want to mix those. Uh, you know, we want to mix those two together so we can play the genre or era we're excited about with a set of rules that we're excited about. And I think that's just, common, human nature, a commonality there. Um, you know, do we do it all the time? No, because sometimes we find the rule set for the genre we're wanting to play and it fits. Perfect example is for uh, Wardrobe. He loves playing World War II, and he loves Blitzkrieg Commander. That is his go-to game when it comes to when he just wants to not have to think about it just play World War II. He breaks out Blitzkrieg Commander, and I can't blame him. It's a good game. I like Cold War Commander. Uh, Definitely for um, it's a different scale uh, than what I look to play at. I think I kind of want to overdo it with that with Cold War Commander. Um, I want it to be. I don't know. I tend to put too many models on with Cold War Commander than what it probably should be. Uh, um, so, I'm still looking for that. I'm still looking for that grand unification of Cold War gaming with 1-to-1 scale, um, where and really not a 1-to-1 scale, but where uh, a tank is a tank, and a stand of uh, a stand of infantry is a squad. You know, um, I tend to want to do that with Blitzkrieg Commander, and it makes it too ungainly. I'm thinking I might be able to get away with that with bigger battles. Um, I'm hoping that I can make that happen. We'll see. It may or may not make it to March to Victory next year, because I've got so much other stuff I'm wanting to do, like Ocean Thunder um, and TNT 4. So yeah. Chuck says, got my bachelor's eventually. Do not ask how long it took. I'll curse your dice if you think you roll bad now. Chuck, I'm here to tell you, 9 times out of 10, my dice are not great. That is why I lose games. Um, I will have good tactics. I'll have good ideas and come up with some pretty good schemes, and they all fall apart when I start rolling the dice. So, John says most guys joined the army to go to college. I went to college to join the army. Story of my life. Fair enough. So yeah, it's what I'm gonna shoot this out to you guys out there, watching me, all 9 of you. What genre or time frame do you really like playing, and have you wanted to envelop that over a set of rules that aren't necessarily for that time frame or that genre? Um, a couple of others that I've looked at doing is looking to do using starfighters. As y'all know, I'm using starfighters to work on Korea and Vietnam. Also, thought we've got the Wings at War game, the Wings at War planes, the little one. I think they're 144th scale. I think that's the scale they're in for the Wings at War, uh, Wings of Glory, uh, World War One fighters, um, and seeing if I can't come up with rules for those using starfighters. The thing, yeah, Reese, that would be rough. He says, H.G. Wells, Little Wars for World War II. Do not do that. Bunkhouse is in the house, as I've been making my own army list for Warlords of Erewhon, making up custom armies for it that aren't published. Right. But are you keeping them as fantasy rules or fantasy armies, or are you stepping out and saying, we're going to use the Warlords of Erewhon rules, but we're going to do the Boxer Rebellion? I don't know if that would work or not. first off, I know very little about Warlords of Erewhon, other than it's loosely based off of uh, Gates of Antares, Beyond the Gates of Antares, and I know absolutely nothing about the Boxer Rebellion other than it happened in China around the turn of the century, referring to the 19th to 20th century. So yeah, John says I could get excited about any period between American War of Independence and World War One. World War II, I love for modeling and equipment. Very true. Warmut, yeah, plans all fall apart when a certain player, not going to mention his name, but nicknamed McMurray, goes off his objective and chooses to kill everything that walks. It happens. No bitterness, just saying. You know. And he says, I've also been working on Weird World 2 rules set based on the Warlords of Erewhon. Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is we have a set of rules, fantasy, and that's a completely different subject, different rabbit hole we could get into. Talking about all miniature games that we play, are really all war games that are played, miniatures and Hex and Counter, are all fantasy to an extent. But yeah, where you take a classic fantasy set of rules and wrap Weird World War II trappings around it. So yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I know my brother, and he's aware that battle lore exists, but he doesn't like how, he doesn't like how the magic works in it. So what he has been working on and off for the last several years is taking Command and Colors Ancients and ramping his own fantasy around that, and then playing it in 28 millimeter. It's a big dream of his that he works with on and off. We get onto a project where we're working hard and heavy, and then we get it where we want it to be, and then kind of as a palate cleanser, he goes back to working on that. Warmut says, or frickin' raccoon jumps out of a stupid barrel. Hey, you're the one that looked in the damn barrel, dude. That's all I'm saying. It's not my fault you couldn't chuck a lit stick of dynamite. Anyway, Weird World War II is zombies. That and other things, werewolves, super soldiers from serums, that type of thing. You could definitely go the route of the Marvel comics, or even Dark Horse comics with Hellboy. That could definitely be Weird World War II with Cthulhu type stuff. There's anything supernatural that's set in the World War II era. Jack says, I'm still new to minis. I've used basic Fistful of Lead for sci-fi fantasy humors versus orcs and gladiator lizards, cowboys, and some future infantry skirmish. Yeah, see, there you go. You just have the core rules, right? Or do you have Fistful of Lead Reloaded? I don't remember which one you have, Chuck. But yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. I love doing that type of thing. Taking those rules and doing something with them that is different. So it's, of course, then there's also you get a hold of a set of rules. You play it once or twice, realize it's not exactly where you want to go with it. So you start tweaking those rules yourself to the point where you make the decision, or uh, the idea is run across your brain that, if you're making this many changes, why don't you just start from scratch and do your own thing? And that's how Ocean Thunder came about, as you all might have heard several times. John says, not out of the realm of reality. I'm of the opinion that current Russian army is all zombies. Well, half the time the Germans during World War II were, with their, go get them chocolate bars. Bughouse says, one of my favorite premises in World War II is that the Martians from War of the Worlds happened. Then the wars in Europe had advanced tech based on that. That's cool. I like that. Add in zombies, vampires, Cthulhu, mechs, power armor, etc., as desired. Steampunk, yeah. Now, what I really like in steampunk is the idea of, and we saw this kind of with McMurray at March to Victory with his giant, flying ships. I like that idea. That's more on the lines of late 1800s time frame. I really like pushing that idea forward into the Dreadnought era, where the Catalyst Games had come out with a game called Leviathan that had like World War I battleships that were flying through the air with the cruisers and destroyers and whatnot. I had a lot of fun with that. I'm thinking of bringing Fistful of Lead starfighters to that. Again, talking look at it that way. Vampires and power armor seems overpowered. If you balance it right with werewolves and power armor, you're fine. To be honest, werewolves tend to have this idea of nothing lives without a head, so they'll probably have either giant claws or big swords that their power armored guys wear to lop the heads off of the vampires in power armor. Just saying. World War One, but in 1898 would be fun. Oh, yeah, there you go. What rules would you use with that, Reese? And that's kind of, so now what we're talking about is mishmaxing, mix mashing our eras and genres, which is cool too. I'm not opposed to that. I like that idea. I said, tried getting my dog to wear a little clown suit. Can't see it. Well, werewolves are a little different. Maybe. I think they still like to chase balls, sticks, that type of thing. Yeah, fistful of lead. Do skirmish actions only or bigger battles. There you go. Yeah, absolutely. I do like the idea of you get the War of the Worlds happening in about 1920, 1925, and extrapolate from there what is going to happen with. Even better if you push War of the Worlds all the way back into the late 1800s, when you still have a very strong colonial, Britain and France and Germany and Belgium all have really powerful colonial expanses, and you do. I guess that's kind of how you get like Space 1898 or Space 1899 or whatever it's called. But yeah, absolutely. I love that type of stuff. So it's got basic and bigger battles in the third fantasy book. Reload, Horse and Musket, and Wasteland Warriors. Oh, there you go. Really, though, you don't need Reloaded, Chuck. there's a lot of difference in the rules between Reloaded and the core rule book. Bunker down the Alamo for a werewolf attack. Oh yeah, that'd be cool. And you're talking about the Alamo, 1836 Alamo. What you could do is you could have werewolves siding with the Texans and the vampires siding with the Mexicans. That would be cool. Just saying. He said, "Oh, what the heck? I'd play anything if there was someone of some group around me that also played. On the other hand, I'm too introverted to meet people." You know, John, what's really interesting is I'm a fairly extroverted person in real life. As my mom used to say, I've never met a stranger. I can talk to anybody about anything. You can ask my wife and my family. I'll talk to people on the bus when we're going from our resort to the different parks at Disney. I'll see something they're wearing and I'll spark up a conversation with them, just to bide the time. But online, I'm rather introverted, which is, you would think that I'm not, but because of the show here, but I am. Yeah, the was, I don't know if it was. I think it was a Tarantino movie, Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah, that one was an interesting one. Had George Clooney in it and Selma Hayek. Wow. Yeah, Dusk Till Dawn. I think they had a second or third one, but those were garbage. The first one was good. Where you at, John? He is in Michigan. I think he answers that a little farther down. It says, Warmuts is all true, John. Dude, you need to reach out to those guys on Discord that are there in Phoenix. Yeah, you have to drive a whole 30 miles. Oh my God. Whoa. No, not 30 miles. Don't get me started on local groups for gaming again. My local group is my brother. We have been gaming more. Just the two of us. But to get any other type of gaming in, I've got to either hit St. Louis an hour and a half to 2 hours away, or Kansas City 3.5 hours away. So yeah, local gaming group, not so much. Yeah, he's in Royal Oak, Michigan. And Reese says, that's a little too far for me. Yeah, it's a hike. John says, I'm an ass online, 180 degrees in real life. You know what, John? You might be an ass, but you're our jackass. So love to have you here. Glad you are with us. And you've been nothing but nice with all of us. So I appreciate that. Some of the other things, obviously Star Wars. I like to shoehorn Star Wars into just about anything that I do. I've had, I know this is going to sound weird, but I've had Starfighters since it came out. But having it in the hardback got me to reading the rules again, and I'm now in the process of stop. I'm now in the process of working on, if you'll bear with me again while I dig something out. And come on, don't break. I'm going to be statting up these guys. These are the Fantasy Flight Armada models that they're just beautiful models that I want to play with. Armada is an okay game, but I really, not as great as I'd like for them to be. Honestly, they're very, fantasy flight, a lot of chits, a lot of tokens. So I'm working on, I want to get these guys on the table and play a quick game. The other thing is they're really expensive. I wish they weren't as expensive as they are. So, even setting up, rules for these little guys. Yeah, Reese, I was an MC30. They've got quite a few of the. I've got quite a few of the stuff. I even have the. I even have the, little fighter stands. I haven't painted these up. I'm wanting to get them painted up, but I just haven't. They're fun. They're great little models, and I want to do things with them other than using them for Fantasy Flight's Armada. Of course, you got the Millennium Falcon. I've got the Millennium Falcon in so many different scales at this point. Same thing with my. Slave One. Go-to ship an Empire at War. Yeah, it's a pretty good one. Some companies put out amazing models, but a lot of times the rules they offer are crap, like Flames of War. Amazing Minis rules that need something like immolation. Nice. Yes, the price is holding me back on those Armada ships. Even when my Miniature Market has their sale, still a little pricey. Just me. No, they are a bit pricey. It's $50-$60 for a single model. Is that's Games Workshop. But I don't need all the cards and all this. I need the stand and I need the ship. That's all I need. So if I could, find some that are, on eBay that don't have the cards and were rather inexpensive, yeah, I'd jump on those. But that doesn't seem to happen very often, unfortunately. And when it does, somebody else jumps in and grabs them. But yeah, I'm wanting to do Starfighters with that. Hell, I'm wanting to do. I'll do Starfighters with these also. Yes, I'm making my own Ocean Thunder game with them. For them, but why not do Starfighters with them also? Why not? Again, I like to take the game or the genre or the era that I am truly invested in and then see how many different ways I can play with those models. So Star Wars, Cold War, World War II naval. Those are my three biggies. Those are my three go-tos. Next tier, of course, is the idea of, and I guess this falls under Cold War, but jet fighters. I really love jet fighters, and I've got a couple of different ways of playing jet fighters. Again, I'm working on rules for starfighters, conversion for starfighters from sci-fi to historical, from about 1950 up to about 1970. Don't want to go too much farther past 1970 because then you're just dealing with super long range missiles like the Phoenix, where you're firing from 40, 50 miles off. It's kind of like modern naval. The only reason I would be looking to do modern naval is, again, within the concept of a full World War III concept, where I'm not dealing with individual ships. I'm dealing with task forces. Yeah, John, Games Workshop, I'm impressed with all the products. The prices are what they are, but the company and the animosity and arrogance toward their customers is just ridiculous. You know what? I agree. And again, that's a completely different topic to and rabbit hole to go down. But I thought for just the briefest amount of time when they came out with the 8th edition, they had really turned a corner and were going to start being better corporate citizens. But then they started with all of the, you as a individual, you as a player can't go out and produce, YouTube content about Warhammer 40K. And there weren't any, from my understanding, there weren't any actual cease and desist letters sent out. There might have been. There's some, some people say that it did happen. Some people say it didn't happen. Either way, I do know that they were pretty jerky about people, producing content to show off the games that they were playing. That being said, oh, thank you, dear.
Come on, Snips, back out.
Just been handed a bowl of ice cream and a peach pie, so I got that going for me. We'll let that sit there for a while. But yeah, is what it is. Oh, she's already gone. I'll let her know you said hi, though. But yeah, it's that's the thing with the 800-pound gorilla, even the 400-pound gorilla with Warlord Games. They get people invested into their IP, and that's how they stay in business. Now, Games Workshop, or I'm sorry, Warlord Games is doing a great job of producing product that honestly, you for bolt action, you can get your models pretty much anywhere. But they've done a good job of getting people to continue to buy their rules. I'm not saying they're bad rules. They're just not the best rules, in my opinion. Some people would argue that with me, and that's okay. Everybody has their own opinions on what's good and what's not good. Everybody has their own opinions on what they want to play and what they don't want to play. And if you're a person that loves to play bolt action, by all means, continue to play bolt action, have fun with it. I'm not going to collect an army for it. I'm not going to buy any books for it. But if I'm someplace and I'm looking to play a game and you've got everything there and you want to play, all right, let's roll some dice. That's the type of gamer I am when it comes to playing something I don't want to play. Um, the only good thing I have to say about GW anymore is that it got me into the hobby, and that's probably truer with most people than they really want to admit. Because to be honest, what got my brother and I into this hobby is Games Workshop back in 1987 with Rogue Trader. He got that for Christmas, and I'm sure y'all have all heard the story, but he got that book for Christmas along with the RB-01 Space Marine box, the a box of 3 rhinos, and a passel of metal space pirates for Christmas. And that got us going down that path. And it got me back into the hobby after I dropped out of the hobby during my first marriage. After after uh, got divorced and remarried to Donna, or not remarried to Donna, but married Donna, and we moved to Austin. She says, "You need to go out. You need to meet people. You need to go find something to do to relieve your stress." And, well, I used to game. Let me go see what we got in gaming. Showed up at a store called Thor's Hammer there in Northwest Austin. That was right when 4th edition of 40K was out. Still had a bunch of old Beaky Marines. Started playing. Met a guy there who was just had a divorce, getting back into the gaming scene, and we became really good friends. So, thank you to Games Workshop for that. We quickly moved away from that into other stuff, but yeah, they got me back in. He says, I can't even say that they helped me make friends anymore because all the folks don't talk to me anymore. Well, there was a lot of that with me also. People that I had met while I was playing in those tournaments. I don't really talk to them anymore either. Is what it is. Or it's what it's. John says we had a local GW shop. The shop was interesting, but avoided going in because they attacked you with 16-year-old employees with plaid jackets. Well, there is that too. They are there to sell their product, and they are very vehement about selling their product. As I find that as I get older, game stores will just ignore older customers. It depends on the type of store. I really wish Great Hall Games in Austin was still around because it was a great game store. It catered to the historical war gamer. It catered to the older gamer. Not to say that it discounted the younger player. In fact, it was very much a, hey, let's see what we can do about getting new players into the hobby. But there were other stores in the area where you would go to play 40K or Fantasy Battle, etc. And if they wanted to make a transition over to historical gaming, Great Hall Games was there. It's also why I like damn it, drawing blank. Tabletop gaming hobby over in Kansas, in the Kansas City area. They're actually both historical and 40K and Warlord games, etc. and so forth. Very much, Phil has done a great job of getting employees to interact in a non-threatening, attacking way for all ranges of ages for customers. And it's a nice store. You can go and they'll come and say, hey, is there anything I can help you with? Nope, just looking right now. Great. If you need me, I'm right over here. Exactly the way it needs to be. Um, but lucky you, my wife just said I need to take a shovel to the back 40. Yeah, well, you know what? Sometimes what my wife says is you need to go leave me alone. Go to your room and play on the computer or paint your models. I do not like tournaments. Would be there for fun, not slamming people to show that I'm this. And that's exactly what it was. The reason I went to play tournaments is it guaranteed me 3 games that day. I got to play 3 games. I tended to always lose, um, and normally I would play the last 2 games against the same guy who ended up becoming my really good friend. Warmup says, all right, homemade noodles, and you guessed it, chicken ready for dinner. Take it easy, Chris. Take care, chatters. See you, buddy. Thanks for dropping in. Stay cool, man. I know it's like 95 already out there. Do your best to early, work like they vote in Chicago, early and often. So take care of yourself, buddy. And it says, I go to Michigan Toy Soldier mostly because they have a store cat. Tabletop had a store cat. I think they might have a new store cat, but Tobias, the reason why his name's Tobias is he was a polydactyl cat. Sweet kitty. Great, great personality. Um, Lived at the store. He did have to retire recently, and then unfortunately he passed away due to old age because that cat had been around for a long time. But that being said, you know, it's not for everybody, but it worked out there quite well. Um, so getting back to the main topic, I think by our nature, like I said, gamers tend to focus on a genre or uh, um, they will focus on a genre or they will focus on a time period, um, and then they will do their best to find rules that they like that will fit that or covers that, or they will find a set of rules that they like and then you know put their put their genre or era on top of it. Either way, it's just, I think, natural for us as gamers to do that. Let's see here. Dinner was eggs, cheese, mashed potatoes. Ooh, that sounds good, actually. Tournaments are also a way to legitimize the hobby to people who know nothing about that hobby. Easier to say, I've got a tournament instead of a narrative event. True, true. Um, Risa said here, yeah, we were all pretty taken aback when Phil let us know that Tobias had passed. It was rough, but he was a great store cat. And then John Longshore is having Costco lasagna was pretty good. We had homemade chili. That's what we had tonight because, well, it's 54 and it's been raining all damn day. Um, it's finally going to let up here probably in the next half hour or so. Tomorrow, on the other hand, it's actually supposed to be, well, cloudy and 73. Friday, we're supposed to have thunderstorms in 84. Saturday, 81 and windy. So fun. Yay. Anyway, so I have been rambling here for the last hour and 15 minutes by myself. This might have been the longest solo show I've done, except for the very first few that I did. Yeah, John, it is supposed to finally get warm. Stuff. Did y'all get any snow this past week? Like last week, not Fargo, but Western North Dakota and Montana got like 40 inches of snow. Jeffy over there in West Virginia just had I think he said on Monday or Tuesday it had snowed all day long. It's ridiculous. Winter will not quit this year, and I'm afraid what's going to happen. Speak of the devil. Hello.
First of all,
Literally mentioned you, and 10 seconds later, you're popping in.
and it's funny, I didn't hear you mention me because my shit was loading. But I popped on here about 3 or 4 minutes ago, but I was doing something, and
That's
I'm
okay.
not doing it.
So,
What are you jibber jabbering about?
well, we were talking about how we tend to, as gamers, mostly with miniatures, because it's kind of hard to do with board games, we'll take a set of rules that we like and immediately say, you know what? I bet I could play this era or genre that is not what these rules were written about. Perfect.
Look, I've only witnessed this for a year, and I've seen you guys play shit that I would never possibly fathom with different types of stuff. So the only thing that I can associate that to is I remember some buddies when I was in junior high playing with the French army from Wellington's Victory on Terrible Swift Sword map against the Union army from Terrible Swift Sword. Never did see the finish of it, but
so it can be done.
The Yanks were kicking because and the only way they could do it is because the hex distances were the same.
Yeah.
But the Yanks, the Union Army at distance just kicked the shit out of the French. But boy, once the French got in close.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I never did see him finish it. So
that old chestnut pipes in with, we got snow in Iowa this week and sleet today, but it'll be 73 on Saturday. Yeah, like I was saying before, Jeff hopped in. I think that we're going to jump immediately from winter straight into summer.
We had 3 inches of snow on Monday, and today it was 67 degrees.
Yeah.
And Friday I'll be on the golf course in a tournament, and it's going to be 80 degrees.
Outstanding, sir. Drink lots of water.
Oh, yeah. I'll be riding in a buggy with the owner of the golf course, so I'm good. She'll be drunk, and I'll be drinking water.
There you go. There you go. John says, I'm just so glad it didn't freeze. I was concerned that my gardens would take a big hit. Yeah, that could be rough. He also says, in junior high, we played Dring Nach Osten, War in Europe.
Is that game any good, John? That old thing?
I.e. ping pong table size war games. There you go. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. So what generated my thought process to this topic tonight, Jeff, is I've been listening to Red Storm Rising again. Okay. My annual or biannual, twice yearly listen to the book.
Right.
And I was thinking, what game out there could be played other than Red Storm Rising to encompass all the aspects of what's happening in the book, the naval battle, the ground battle, the air battle, etc.
Right.
And what came to mind, crazy enough, was Kriegspiel.
Kriegspiel, yeah.
Although it was designed for 1800s, tactics, I'm thinking, the general premise could be used, because really what Kriegspiel is a what's the word I'm looking for? A map is a thing. You're not. The game itself is more designed to be a map problem.
Right. John, I have those games. I have the whole Europa collection now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Never played them.
So, I was thinking, you could probably do with the right number of players. You would want to have a minimum of 3 players to a side. You would want 1 player to run the naval, 1 player to run the air, and 1 player to run the ground battle, the army.
Right.
And each playing piece would be a regiment. Did I say, yeah, a regiment at its smallest, at the smallest. And then, of course, you would have a map that covers, Europe and the North Atlantic, at least out to Iceland. And you have your 3 players on a side, and you've got your referee, and you go with that. Is that something that I think I want to take on? Not right now, but I might.
Yeah, I haven't touched a game in 2 nights.
What?
Yeah, I'm not. I've got the Italy thing, and it's not hateful. But it's just a little rundown from everything I'm doing at work right now.
Yeah.
I'll get a break this weekend finally.
Yeah, but
we had our boss today put out a job announcement, and it was for a senior analyst in our department. And I'm like, wait a minute, we have a senior analyst. And so the first thing that came to my mind is my boss is the deputy director of the county.
Yeah.
And the director is probably going to retire this year. And so my boss, he would move up to be the director. And I was thinking, well, if he moves up, then our senior analyst will probably move over to be our IT department director, which would be great because then I'll get my own department because of the way he believes things should be done. Turns out that he's retiring.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit. But the job, I'm thinking about applying for it. The only reason I might not is because I don't want to change my office. I like where I'm at.
Yeah.
But the job can pay almost $96,000. So I make 73 now. I'm sure if I got it, I'd at least get 5 or 6, I would think. But I don't know. I kind of like working with my girls, and I like where my office is. So, but that was the thrill of the day.
Yeah,
but that was happening.
You're looking at 17 more a year. I think I could deal with a different office for 17 more a year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But you know what? Hey, I remember they gave us a 15% pay raise last year or 2 years ago. I figured out how to spend that before I even got it.
Yeah, they're all in that closet on those 2 bookshelves.
Oh, let's get this subscription. Oh, let's buy that game. Oh, hey, let's buy a 3D freaking printer. Y'all are such a bad idiot.
Anyway, so yeah, it's just, and we've been just talking about until you hopped on. I was all by myself, an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch the Caps hockey game. The regular season's almost over. So
yeah, that's fine. I figured that's what you were doing. It's okay. You got a life outside of here.
I wish yeah, but it's like right here. And now the golf's in there, that'll.
Yep. So,
but we had snow this week, so we canceled golf.
Blah. But I think we had. I think I was actually able to stay on topic for the most part the entire time. Had some good interaction with the chatters here. Warmutt was here for a little bit in the chat.
Yeah, I saw him.
Yeah, he had to, go eat his chicken.
I guess Todd's at the local convention.
Yeah. His little personal.
Did you see what he got?
Yeah, I did.
For those of you that don't know, he was given for free the U.S. Civil War and, get this now, the brand new Into the Woods.
Yep.
For free.
Yep.
Couldn't believe it. I had to pay for mine, damn it. Todd is very fortunate with that kind of stuff.
Did you see what I got?
Yes, yeah. I remember I asked you who was sleeping in bed with you, the book or Donna?
It's such a beautiful book, guys. Actually, there is one thing in here. There's a photo. Oh, right here. That photo right there was taken at the Bigger Battles Star Wars game that happened last year.
Right.
Oh yeah, that happened at the crossover event, the Rocky's War Room Wiley Games crossover event.
Are those the ones that are just now coming out, or
yeah?
So have they been shipping them yet, or did you?
Yeah,
just
they
get yours
have.
up front?
Yeah, they have. I got mine Saturday night, and they had not shipped any yet. I don't think they are just now getting into the hands of people's now.
Let me show you what I got.
What you got?
Real quick here, what I got. Watch. Hold on. Magic trick. Got my new twofers.
All right. Outstanding.
Love it.
Yeah.
So now the joke is I got my West Virginia plate, and now I got my formal plate.
Nice.
Reese, I need some pictures.
What's that?
Reese, I need some pictures.
Yeah. Politics, poly-Greek for the many ticks, Roman for the blood-sucking vermin. Very true. Very true. So, yeah, tonight was a good night. Even though, I flew solo, I was able to stay on the keep level on the horizon.
Yeah, none of us assholes to distract you. That's why.
Well, I had all the guys in the chatter, so.
All right.
Not saying you guys are assholes, but.
Not saying that John is a distraction on his own.
I'll text you some if you're not on the Discord.
Yeah, and you know what? I need to look at that because I know damn well that you sent me that Discord. And I think what happens is when I boot it up, when I turn on my Discord, I get caught up with that the content providers one that Ardwolf attached me to.
Yeah. So, anywho, guys, I'm all talked out. Believe it or not. Plus, I've got my ice cream and peach pie. My ice cream is melting on my peach pie, so I need to get that eaten. But I think we had a good talk tonight. Not sure what we're going to talk about next week. Hell, we might talk about Civil War again. Who knows if Hex is available. Chucky's not playing anything right now. But what do you have on the table?
I have Avalanche: The Invasion of Italy, which is sort of an older version of the. Everybody's playing the new Salerno 43.
Yeah.
GP, and I did not pre-order that one. Didn't appeal to me, but Rich had sent me this older one from Avalanche Press. And I've never owned an Avalanche Press game, and I set it up, and it actually looks pretty nice. So.
Very good. Very cool.
And I am on Discord, Reese. I'm in there right now, actually.
Dave Hall says, but you just started. Yeah, I started an hour and 30 minutes ago. You might have fallen asleep. I don't know. John's giving me a thumbs up and applause. And yes, your Vietnam game is this Sunday.
Good.
I am expecting photos on Discord.
I'll do some video.
Yes, see some video
too. Do some quickie blow-throughs of the map or whatever. Little shorts.
And then this weekend on Sunday, I'm playing my brother in Kanji City. So there'll be some information. We'll be seeing some photos from that. The following week will be the end of the month, and that is me taking a trip down to St. Louis, either to Miniature Market on Manchester or game night at 8380 Watson Road, playing Ocean Thunder with McMurray. It'll be his first chance to get a hold of the rules and see what he thinks. So we got that going for us. And then the following weekend is the May the 4th be with you gaming event at Wiley HQ, where we are going to play 3 different Star Wars games all at the same time, where they will interact with each other. I think we may be doing some live stuff from that, so be on the lookout. So definitely going to be some good gaming will be had by many the next following few weeks. Now, the weekend after May 7th, I won't be doing any gaming because I'm going to be at my grandson's graduation there in Kansas City. But I'm going back to Kansas City. I'm going to Kansas City 2 weeks in a row in May. And if I get a wild hair, we'll go a third week because the week after graduation is his graduation party. So we'll see. John says YouTube vlogging through history, Civil War generals tier rating, very interesting. You'd like it. I'll have to take it out.
Yeah, vlogging through history, really, really good stuff.
So, gentlemen, thank you for joining me tonight in the chatter there. We've had 9, 10, 11 strong all night. So thank you. It is greatly appreciated. You guys take care of yourselves. I'm hoping to get back onto the 2 videos a week. I know I've gone a while not having any videos, but I'm hoping to get back into the swing of that here. So again, Tiger Shadow, you were quiet all night, but thanks for dropping in. John, thank you. Reese, Dave, Chuck. Who else do we have in here? We had Old Chestnut drop in. Warm Up, thank you for being here for the brief time. Bunkhouse, thanks for showing up. I think that's about everybody. Just seeing if I got any more that I missed. Looks like I got everybody. Again, everybody, thank you so much for dropping in. And until
I'm going back to coffee.
Excuse me. Oof. And until next time, we'll see you on the flip side.